Hey everyone. Obviously, the world's not in the greatest place at the moment, so I'm gonna try and remain relatively calm throughout the course of this video because, K-pop comebacks aren't really all that important at a time like this, but some did happen, nevertheless. So let's discuss them and do our best not to go crazy from isolation. Also, I'll be ranking them from favorite to least favorite this time, so you can duck out before things get too negative if you really want to. Okay, now on to the rest of the video. Kick It was basically the shining saving grace of this whole month. SM blessed us with so much good NCT content. The concept was fun, the performances were great despite the fact that they couldn't perform in front of a live audience. Jungwoo is back and still not getting enough lines, but at least he's there. Speaking on just the song itself, I generally like it. I really enjoy the harder side of NCT, and I like it when they push boundaries and try something new, which this definitely is. It's like a hard rock hip-hop song with random R&B elements, and the only real connecting motif is Bruce Lee. Shouts out to Bruce Lee.
Oh, try me, bitch.
On paper, it totally shouldn't work, but somehow it really does. Also, as a Johnny-biased individual, I was absolutely losing it over all of his lines and center time. This is Johnny's era, and nobody can convince me otherwise. Now concerning the album, I don't think I liked it quite as much as Regular Irregular, but it was still really great and showcased a lot of their range and utilized everyone in different ways. It seems pretty clear that Taeyong and Mark were off doing Super M stuff while the rest of the group was recording, and as such, the line distribution is the tiniest bit more fair, which I'm all for. Give me Johnny, Yuta, and Jungwoo lines all day, every day. I mentioned in the February video that the members of AB6 were all getting member solos, and those continued on into March, one of them being Woojin's Color Eye. Was this essentially just a standard rap song, just like any of the ones you'd hear on Western radio? Yes. Did I also absolutely eat that shit up like all of my favorite foods that my grocery store keeps running out of because of the pandemic? Also yes. Woojin knows who he is and what he wants to say. He doesn't need to try and reinvent the wheel or anything. He came out with a bangin' song and a concept that suits him, and that's really the best policy in this case. In addition to loving the song, I also really dig the video and all of the retro effects. Granted, I think a lot of the post-production is meant to mask his injury, but it turned out cool either way, so I can't complain. The part where he's standing in front of a freaking color blindness test? So clever. So enjoyable to watch and listen to. If you like hip-hop, this is a must listen. Maybe skip the video if you're epileptic though, because it do be flashing a lot. Okay, so ITZY is a group that has been very polarizing for me ever since they came into existence. I liked parts of Dalla Dalla, but it was ultimately too jarring for me to fully get behind. Icy I hated upon first listen, but it grew on me enough to become one of my favorite songs of last year. And with Wannabe, I liked the sound of it right off the bat, but it also brought up a completely different criticism, and that is that they keep recycling the same freaking message over and over again. Like, loving yourself and being authentic are great messages to have, but when you have to constantly tell people the message rather than naturally showing it in your work, it starts to feel a little bit forced. And that's not a criticism on the girls, by the way. They always do a good job with whatever they're given. I just hope that for their next comeback, they can keep the same powerful energy and sing about something else. Please and thank you, Mr. JYP. But with that gripe out of the way, I have to say that musically, this is a great title track for them. I particularly love the instrumentation. I'm a sucker for K-pop songs with a kicking guitar lick. Also, the random bells and synths at the beginning and sprinkled throughout are really cool. And the shoulder dance? Incredible. Also, the dance break. These girls know how to nail a good dance break, and I definitely appreciate it. The video, I didn't really pay that much attention to it, honestly. It's fine, there's nothing wrong with it, but the song definitely outshines the video in my opinion. First of all, I love that they've kept the Latin vibe from their last comeback, In fact, they've delved even deeper into it. Like, I live near the border, and if I heard an instrumental version of this, or if I just wasn't paying close enough attention, I would totally mistake it for a Latin pop song instead of a Korean one, and I think that's dope. The style definitely seems to work from them. The video is whatever, but the song is so upbeat and addictive. I'm in love with the rhythmic guitar. Also, I'd like to say that these girls look great in red. It's really a shame how underrated they are. I know there's a lot going on in the world right now, but if you missed this MV, I urge you to rectify that immediately because it is fire. So I love Alexa, but I didn't really vibe with this song at first. Like, Bomb was an instant head turner of a song, while this one took a minute to grow on me. Now I can confidently say that I love most of it. There are still small parts that get on my nerves though, particularly the rapping. There's just something about the over-enunciation of her words that makes the English parts not that pleasant to listen to. However, the performance and music video totally make up for that. Like, I genuinely don't think I've ever seen a K-pop music video with such great effects and cinematography. Like, that ugly Alaskan bullworm Voldemort looking thing genuinely made me recoil when it popped up on the screen. I was not prepared for that, but I should have been because Alexa always brings the quality. And honestly, she's more of a dance-based performer anyway, so I can forgive the music not being the star of the show. I do hope that she does something more similar to Bomb for her next comeback though, because I definitely liked that better. I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't used to give a shit about Kong Daniel. Like, back when Produce was still a thing, I always did my best to avoid those groups until after they disbanded because, like, what's the point of falling in love with something that's not even gonna last anyway? But even after 101 disbanded and I started learning more about them, Daniel was not one who really caught my attention in any significant way. Like, y'all know my gay ass is a day we stand till the end of days. However, after the whole Twice dating thing blew up and everybody was talking about him, I decided to give his solo debut a chance, and I found that I actually really liked it. And then I liked his second song, Touchin', even more. So I was definitely excited for this comeback, and I think I'm happy with it. It's got the chill, laid-back vibe that so many other songs from this month ended up having, which is probably for the best, TBH. Anyway, I think the appeal of Kong Daniel is really the smooth quality he has to his voice, as well as how well-rounded of a performer he is. And both of those things were definitely on display with this comeback. Also, I loved all the diverse background dancers he chose to use for this video. Sometimes K-pop videos employ people of various races and skin tones and just use them as props to make the video stand out more, but this didn't feel like one of those cases. Everything about this felt natural and chill. It passes the vibe check for sure. ONEUS isn't really a group that I technically stan, but I do think they're incredibly talented, and this song showcases that perfectly. Their vocals are just crystal clear, and the subdued backing track with random freaking flute in the intro is so calming. Then the beat picks up, and the rapper comes in and lays down a nice verse, but instead of leading into an even bigger chorus like most K-pop songs do, it settles right back into the same mellow vibe it had before. I think the name is really fitting. It sounds like something that was written easily by just going with the flow. This is definitely something that I'd listen to during like a road trip or something. It's not really a good fit for every occasion, but I definitely dig it.
Tell me everything to me. You're everything to me. 사람들이 모르는.
Surprise, surprise, another ballad. As if this month wasn't already depressing enough. Honestly though, I can't be mad at this song. Sejong's vocals are just so gorgeous, and this soft freaking humming? Absolutely angelic. Also, the fact that the song is literally about plants and the fact that taking care of them is really the only joy the narrator has in their life, I'm crying in the club. Also, the scene with all the colorful plastic bags is so freaking beautiful, Katy Perry could never. We interrupt this video to bring you my brand new K-pop merch store, Foreign Swaggers Designs. I know that money is tight for most people right now, but after the universe finally grants us all a break, consider indulging in such t-shirt designs as Let K-pop idols date, Neo crackhead technology, or my personal favorite, Sasaeng Killer, as well as many others. You can also use the code ISOLATE for $3 off of your purchase until further notice. Okay, that's all. Back to the video. This one basically had the same mellow vibe as the One Us song, but it felt just the tiniest bit less creative. That doesn't mean that it's bad though. As far as Stray Kids songs go, I definitely prefer this to some of their weird shouty songs. Instead of being a road trip song though, this is more of a cry on your couch because you're sad for no real reason sort of a vibe. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like it will, especially for my fellow uterus owners out there. Anyway, this is a good song. I like it a lot. I have no idea if it's a title track or not because Stray Kids just releases things all the friggin' time, but if it is a title track, it might even be one of my favorites of theirs. I became a fan of this dude last year and he just keeps on impressing me. I don't really know much about him, but I don't need to. All I know is that I adore his voice. Do I like this song as much as his last release? Not really, but I don't think it really matters in this case. I would listen to him sing literally anything, and thank him for it. This song almost gives me Sam Smith vibes, especially in the chorus, but there's some interesting variation in the structure that keeps you on your toes. Overall, a really good time. I think this one's making the sitting on the couch crying playlist as well. I'm always happy to have more winter in my life, and this song was nice and refreshing, and having Suhyun from ACMU play basically the kid sister type of character was such a good move. They're also one of the only groups I can think of that can pull off a funny, sweet concept like this. Unfortunately, though, the song didn't really capture me in any real way. I feel like Winter has two distinct modes, cute and charming and wannabe gangster. And this song didn't really lean hard enough into either of those personas. It just kind of stuck in the middle, and it's not bad, but it's not spectacular either. But regardless, I know that at least one of them is enlisting soon, so I'm glad we got to have any sort of comeback at all, really. I need to preface this by saying I don't really know much about Victon, so I have no idea if this is indicative of their normal style, but this was surprisingly pleasant. It's not particularly unique or showy, but what it does well. The vocals are really great on this track. It actually reminds me of like an old school EXO song in some ways, back when they used to do power ballads. Overall, it's not something that I'm in a rush to download, but I wouldn't mind listening to it again. Now we finally reached the end of the random unexpected 86 solos. This one wasn't really my style. It definitely sounded pretty, but I've said it once and I'll probably say it 1,000 more times throughout the course of these videos. I'm really picky about ballads, especially breakup ballads. This one didn't do anything wrong or offensive. It just didn't really put enough of a spin on the genre for me to really take note. However, if you love yourself a nice, soothing, well-crafted ballad with melancholy undertones, you're probably gonna love this. I'm always down for new girl groups with powerful concepts, but I must admit that this one kind of missed the mark for me. In terms of debuts, it's definitely not the worst, but the song is mixed weirdly and the backing track doesn't seem to line up with the vocals for some odd reason. The whole thing kind of feels like a high-budget production that was done by complete amateurs. Like, the sets and styling look great, but the cinematography is sloppy. The choreo is passable, but it's shot in a way that makes it look less appealing. That being said, these girls definitely have potential. The vocalists were actually really impressive, especially this girl. I also think this will really appeal to fans of like early second gen K-pop. It's got that sort of like charmingly dated vibe. So yeah, overall, not a fan as of yet, but I'm intrigued to see more.
내 창을 두드리는 사람 어느새 난 너를 따라 닿을 수 없다 해도 널 잡고 싶은 넌 내 바람
This is kind of like K-pop elevator music.
I'm on an elevator.
No, not that kind of elevator music. Not that kind either. I was actually really looking forward to his solo album because I was hoping it would give me a better idea of his personal musical identity. But it was just kind of basic, easy listening mixed with the tiniest bit of yeehaw. Like, it wasn't bad, per se, but it wasn't distinctive, and if it was playing randomly on the radio for some reason, I would never be able to tell it was him. I will go ahead and say that he sounds good. His vocals are more than adequate, but even that could have been punched up a few notches, I think. As you can tell, this one just really wasn't my style, but one thing I will say about it is that it's different from what most people would expect out of an idol singer. So it is cool that he's breaking conventions. I just wish that I liked the song better. And those were all the comebacks and debuts I could remember from the month of March. I don't know how many more we'll be getting in April considering the state of the world right now, but I'm sure we can find something to discuss. Until then, let me know what you thought of these comebacks and what you're looking forward to. Stay safe, everyone.